Hi, my name is Mike. Thanks for joining me today on my channel, Technically Church, where I share over 20 years of experience in audio, video, lighting, and multimedia. You can always find out more on my website at technicallychurch.com. Let's jump in. So in the library on the Behringer wing, when you're dealing with snaps, there are two buttons that work very differently, and I just wanted to explain that really quickly. So I'm referring to the Save button and the Update button under Snaps in the Behringer wing. So a snap is saving a snapshot of the entire board. It's very useful if you're running through scenes and need different parameters saved. There's a lot of different features in here when you're dealing with scopes. So you can save a snap, and it's going to save all the parameters currently of that board into a snapshot. You can hit Save plus Scope, and you can narrow it down and say, I really only want to affect certain channels or certain parameters of those channels. But it still is going to save everything in there. It's just when you recall it, it's only going to recall what you have set for your scope. So where you can get in a little bit of trouble, so you might have a scope narrowed down. So if you look at this, this specific snapshot, I have channels 1 through 36 in the scope, and I only have the fader and mute. So essentially what I'm doing is saving the fader position and the mute on and off in this snapshot. If I were to change something on this snapshot and hit update, it's only going to update the channels in that scope. So it's only going to update channels 1 through 36 in that scope. If I were to make a major global change to my main routing or my mains, it's not going to save in that, and it's actually only going to remember what I saved last time. So that's where save comes in. So if I were to hit save, it's actually going to save all parameters of the board into that snapshot. It's still only going to recall what I have set for the scope. So I could save because I made a major parameter change to my mains, and it's going to save in that snapshot using the save button. If I were to use the update button, that would not be the case because of my limited scope. Where this is very important is if you make a mistake down the road and you realize I need to recall back, to something that I know works. I can change the scope of a scene. So this scene 5 here, again, was only 1 through 36. Let's say I made a mistake and I'm like, I know that scene works and I want to recall it. I can hit edit scope and I can expand that scope because all the parameters are still saved in there. It's just what's being recalled. So to recap, we have multiple layers here. We can save plus scope. You can save everything on the entire board or change the scope to a limited set of parameters. It's going to save the whole board, and then it's only going to recall what you have set in your scope. Then, when you hit update, it's only going to update the parameters that you have set in the scope. When you recall, it's going to recall, or when you load, it's going to load what you have set for your scope. You can expand that scope after you save a snap, and it would load everything that you've expanded the scope to. So when you save, you want to pick update, which is only going to update the parameters in the current scope, or you can hit the save button, which is going to save the entire board, but still only recall what you have set as your scope. Thanks for joining me today. Again, my name is Mike. You can always find out more on my website, technicallychurch.com, or on my YouTube channel, Technically Church. Look forward to seeing you soon.